said, I'll just tell him because I know you ain't gonna tell him all.
I'm telling him exactly what I said. I said what Charleston White might be the same as.
You said Charleston White was the same as Martin Luther King.
That was the dumbest thing you said.
But the only reason I said that is because it's like it could still have been just like a business.
And you said Martin Luther King was also the same as Black Lives Matter.
No, that's so disrespectful.
Okay. He said he was scamming.
You love to say business.
Man, I'm just messed up in life, bro. I just be seeing so much stuff. We don't know what's anybody attention behind anything. Cause like, think about, how they pushing the gay movement stuff and they have advocates and activists for it. So, we don't know what was going on around that
time. Justifying
a civil rights
and
leader.
Justifying treating a race of people is different.
And you know what's so disrespectful? You have his shirt on right now.
Hey, he's the GOAT.
Give me that shirt.
And then take that shirt off.
Hey, he's GOATed for sure. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you really look at it, just be like, look at today how people funded.
He was uniting people so much that they had to assassinate him.
Yeah,
but they killed him.
Did y'all know he survived the first assassination attempt? He died in the hospital.
Yeah.
They smothered him with a pillow.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Somebody came in and smothered him to death.
Yeah.
Nah,
I'm just thinking out the box. I ain't saying if it's true or not. I was just saying a theory. You never know the theory behind.
So now you went from saying this is what it was to now
you want to backpedal.
Nah,
I keep it 100. Like look at today's society right now.
It's a conspiracy theory.
Because like we're watching it happen right now in our society right now.
Well, no. That ain't got
nobody's
nothing to do
like Martin
with,
Luther King though.
Yeah, there's
but
no
there is activists that are probably famous right now for the LGBTQ, and that's probably gonna be glorified just like him for fighting for that.
Like
who? What the hell?
It might be. It might do that.
We're gonna get to this video and we're gonna stop talking.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying, but like,
look,
think about like
this man.
Like who?
I'm not
spoke to more than probably millions of people.
He did some goated stuff. Yes,
he got the Jim Crow.
Yeah, he did. He did. He fought for all that.
Okay,
but like, it's not like the same thing as somebody else fighting for their rights. The same thing.
No, it's not the same thing because I think you fighting when you talking about race. Like it's different. You are born a skin color.
Yeah, that's
I
the way
understand,
you're born.
but
you
like,
don't get rights.
justify
You don't get rights because you because of your sexual orientation. You don't deserve rights for that.
I understand that, but like y'all look at our society that we're living in. So
that's
y'all
why
think
it's a problem.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
it's a problem.
I ain't trying to say Martin Luther King didn't do nothing good. Yes, he did do something good. But I'm saying you don't think it's probably like a business how everybody was doing.
So you saying he just did all that for money and he didn't have no good intentions
when he lived?
He probably did have good. He did have good intention, but you never know. You just never know. I'm just saying, what if? It's a what if.
No. So now you saying what if? You saying what it was, then now you saying what if?
All right, man. Let's get into DeSantis trying to change slavery.
I can't speak for anything Martin Luther King has done, but I know.
I can, man. Because I believe. Yeah? I believe that one day, and we in that one day.
That's all your ass know.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's leave it at that. Okay, so I guess DeSantis is trying to like take slavery, like the bad stuff that happened in slavery, out of school.
Yes, he is trying to make it where the history that is taught that slavery benefited black people.
That is insane.
Actually, an abomination. I think they should continue to teach it. They're trying to say that critical race theory to teach slavery. And they're trying to like rewrite it in Florida.
I got a question though. I'm finna say something wild. What happened? I'm not saying this. We should not do this. But what happened if you never told a black child, that he was a slave? Like what happened? He can just know he's just like a regular human being.
He gonna still be a black nigga.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think he'll still look lower of himself? Because like think about if you always seeing bad and negative stuff all your.
I never thought lower of myself.
That is true.
Yeah, not of me.
I don't think of myself, but some people like think about, imagine if they never seen that. You think they would still be,
No, I think it's important to teach it because history, you got to teach history.
So it don't repeat.
The mistake, so it's not repeated.
So to me, I mean, it's kind of like hand in hand. I'm like, I think it could be good. I think it could be bad.
No, I don't
see any cons.
I feel like
this
you
is
should
my first
teach
time hearing about this, and all I've heard about it is what y'all just told me right there. From what it sounds like right there, I don't see how that could be good.
But
let's hear. I want to hear what
good
they say.
Than bad to me.
That doesn't make sense.
No,
it's good.
What can it hurt?
Because if you don't talk about the things that, even the mistakes that were made, then it could be repeated.
You don't think their parents kind of teaching them already?
I think
in society,
it's definitely good to know about your
Who
history. That's
finna put
American
you back
history.
in James? Well, I mean, 100 years later, it could be possible.
We have nuclear war.
Yeah, man.
It could be possible, yeah, that's
Thousands
true.
of things that black people have overcome. Like, I feel like it's essential to teach that. Maybe.
I don't
have
know,
something
man.
to strive for. Give you some pride.
I feel like you should just teach the truth because that's what it is.
I feel that. I just
Let's see DeSantis.
imagine if you never thought that you was a slave. Like
Nothing in my life would be different.
Yeah,
now in life, you think.
I think I would still be as like the same person.
But like, okay, that's y'all. But like, a lot of problems
what
is
would be
people that
different,
thinking
though?
about. Like,
People would stop thinking about race, though.
yes, that probably would have changed a lot too.
There might be less victim-y, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That one,
So that's what I'm saying. I see more pros than really
Maybe.
like
That's a
cons.
maybe, though, because I don't know.
Well, it's over with now, but I'm saying for the future.
yeah,
you
that's
know,
what
kids.
like that's a tough
know.
scenario.
I want to know what his reasoning and what his vision behind it. So let's go ahead and get into it.
But-
Let's see what he says.
This all I'm gonna say. If he gonna have to, teach it, you might as well tell the truth. No sugarcoat it.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. Yeah, that's true. But he's saying he's gonna teach it, but he's just gonna make it seem like they're just gonna show the good highlights of what black people done. Like make the street light or different stuff they've done.
That's what they said he was gonna do.
Yeah,
You sure?
yeah. So isn't that a pro?
Let's see. We
Instead
about
of
to
showing
see
the
what
vi-
he's
it's-
saying.
we gonna see.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis appears to be trying to distance himself from the recent changes that have been made to his state's public school curriculum. Now, last week, the Florida Board of Education approved new guidelines for teaching Black history, which suggests that enslaved people reaped benefits from skills acquired during centuries of forced labor.
That's insane.
The move comes just months after DeSantis criticized an advanced placement course on African American studies.
Might not be wrong though.
The changes are now facing.
We can talk about. Hold on,
significant
hold on, brother. Now let's not forget.
I can't
Them
say it
niggas-
benefited.
Hold on. Them niggas came over here with no skill.
How you know they had no skills? They survived in a civilization.
Well,
I'm sure they would have been adapted. There's Africans that come over here without the skills that slaves
Let me not
had
say they
and are
had more.
successful.
I mean, a lot of them. Maybe you even said that they didn't have skill after they were released.
When did I say that?
I'm pretty sure you said that on the video. Even if you didn't, that's true though.
never said that.
What skills did they have when
They were
released?
not. They were denied access to knowledge, and they were not allowed to learn to read, and they were not allowed to learn to write.
But they could farm and all that.
They knew
So
how to
who,
do
who,
physical
taught,
labor.
who taught
but-
them that?
They probably already knew how to do that because they were surviving wherever they were from.
Yeah,
Nah, I think they had to be taught that.
How slaves learned how to read?
They learned from. I
I
feel.
mean, they might have learned it in
They
Africa.
learned- they
but-
learned-
They couldn't
They-
farm in Africa.
but
house
they
slaves
ain't-
learned how to
I
read,
don't know.
and they,
They
taught
gotta
each
eat
other.
something.
The
But
house
bro, they
slaves
were
learned how to
learned
read. They
to
taught
do
each
more
other.
than just farm, bro. They were blacksmith. They were different.
Yeah, there was all
kinds
type of stuff. They was building their own houses and everything from scratch, so they had to know how to level and all to do all that. So somebody had to teach them that.
They
Nope.
would learn how to do
doubt
There
it.
are probably
labor
certain
work.
skills that they were taught.
It was probably multiple
But-
skills. Probably it was probably a lot of skills. To be honest with you, really.
I don't
sit down.
think that outweighs all of the problems that slavery caused.
No. We ain't saying. I'm not saying the benefit, but they did lose. We probably did
that's
learn a lot of
Let's keep
skills.
Well, I'm
though.
sure they knew how to make houses and stuff before they were slaves.
But
That's a hard.
How do you think
don't
they
know.
just home? They were just living outside in Africa.
but they wasn't probably living like the
probably had
houses they had.
different
Yeah, like
They was
How,
living in
how do we know
tents.
that?
you think like was they growing continent Africa too around that time too?
Huh?
Like how they knew how to grow on this terrain.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
everything was
saying?
different. Everything
Everything's
is
different.
different.
So you
Well,
have to be
Is that something
taught.
we can look up?
World.
Is there something we can look up?
We're on a whole nother side of the world too. That's yeah. They had to learn.
They had to learn all that.
Different. Yeah, it is different.
Yeah.
And I don't think they had did they have horses in Africa?
But they got horses.
Yeah, horses in Africa.
Just wild horses just running around?
I'm pretty sure, but I don't know.
Cause I usually see goats and all the other type
I
of
thought
cows,
they got-
and
I
I ain't
thought
never
they got
seen the
all
horses
animals.
in Africa. I'm probably tripping. Only time.
I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
that's just one that's hard.
I think they definitely learned
Oh.
more skills in
Yeah,
slavery.
they definitely have wild
they,
horses in Africa.
Yeah, for sure. I know they learned more skills in slavery, but to say they had no skills and didn't know anything before they got over here is crazy.
Yeah, they had skills,
That's
but
fucking absurd.
maybe they did learn some new skills, but I don't think those new skills outweighed the damage the slavery
Yeah, the
did.
treachery that they had to go to get those skills.
And y'all know me, man. I ain't no victim, but I keep with 100, man. I say what I
But
think.
okay,
no,
I think about I'll say if you was born into slavery already, you ain't had nothing. Your mama and them was already. Think about you a lineage of just born in there. They had to be taught that.
Yeah,
some
but
way.
you gonna be taught whatever, you know what I'm saying? Wherever you at, you gonna learn whatever.
Look.
People, you know?
So I
You
know,
learn something.
I know today's time is a little different, but let's be real. If we went to Africa right now, we would have more skill than a lot of them.
Not everywhere,
I don't know
bro.
about
No, they would be book smart. Some of them would be book smart.
No, Africa
What
is
you
a lot
mean
more
skill?
developed than you think.
being able
bro.
to change a tire, being able
They
to
can
just-
change
No, I
tires,
think
bro.
they're
Cars.
more. I think they got more skills than us, bro. We're too babied over here in the United States.
Yeah, we have
they're
way more
they're
people.
using their hands right now to
They
survive.
have a lot
They're way
of
more privileged.
us being
Modern-
able to see the
modernization.
internet, and I mean they can
They
see
have
the
the
internet.
internet,
but,
they
like,
have
no, they
all
have. But I'm just saying, like, we
They-
try to
they
do
have, like,
more
almost everything we have,
entrepreneur
probably.
things, though, bro. Like they wouldn't be able to set up. A
You okay,
podcast.
entrepreneur,
They
but-
wouldn't be able to set
but
up
you think
certain
you would be
things
able to-
for
They
them.
probably
There's
can't do
podcasts
that,
and stuff
bro.
in Africa.
All right.
bro.
There are, but
Okay.
They're
it's
making
not-
movies. They do
But it's,
all
a
that.
lot of us know how to do a lot of that, though.
They're
Okay,
just bigger here, but there's probably other things, skills there that are bigger than we
think
can
about
do.
we get
We
rid
probably
of
just have more access to those type of resources than them, but I'm sure there's people over there that know how to do that for sure.
if we get rid of all electronics, who's gonna survive?
There
I
was
mean, that's
probably
hard to-
that.
That mean they have more skill than us.
I mean, we don't know.
I think they're more likely to survive than us for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
sure.
more skill, bro.
Bro, a lot of people over there
They
still
come
like,
off the land.
bro, they still like have farm type lifestyles. Like they raise and slaughter their own animals and grow their own vegetables and things.
Just months after DeSantis criticized an advanced placement course on African American studies. The changes are now facing significant backlash. Vice President Kamala Harris visited Jacksonville on Friday and slammed the new curriculum, calling it extremist propaganda. This prompted DeSantis to defend his state while also denying any personal responsibility for the new education standards. Take a listen.
Yeah, I don't know, DeSantis.
Well, you should talk to them about it. I mean, I didn't do it, and I wasn't involved in it. But I think what they're doing is I think that they're probably going to show some of the folks that eventually parlayed, being a blacksmith into doing things later in life. But the reality is, all of that is rooted in whatever is factual. They listed everything out. And if you have any questions about it, just ask the Department of Education. You can talk about those folks. But I mean, these were scholars who put that together. It was not anything that was done politically.
Sure. Some Republican presidential candidates are also speaking out against the Florida Board of Education's new guidelines. Former Congressman Will Hurd wrote on Twitter this: "Unfortunately, it has to be said, slavery wasn't a jobs program that taught beneficial skills.
Okay, yeah.
It was literally dehumanizing and subjugated people as property because they lacked any rights or freedoms."
That's
Here's
what
what
Republicans
Chris
do.
Christie had to say, too.
"I didn't do it and I'm not involved in it," are not the words of leadership.
That's true.
Look, Governor DeSantis started this fire with the bill that he signed, and now he doesn't want to take responsibility for whatever is done in the aftermath of it. And from listening and watching his comments, he's obviously uncomfortable. He only started to focus on this when he decided he wanted to run for president and try to get to the right of Donald Trump. And so I think people see this as politically manipulative. And I'm talking about, Margaret, we're dividing our country into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces.
Yeah.
And politicians are pitting them against each other to create conflict. And that's not going to make the country bigger, better, stronger, or freer.
Wow.
So, Eugene, let's just start with how inaccurate and offensive some of this teaching is.
Wow, I do kind of want to hear from this guy, but
No,
that
I
is.
don't feel like I don't want to hear from him.
But for you to be able to sign off on something and you say, "Well, go ask them. They put this together." But you
That's
signed
crazy.
off on
You the
it.
government. You the,
Facts.
you
You
the
gotta know what
governor
you're signing off
of
on.
the state.
That is
You gotta know what you're
that
signing
is
off
very
on.
much lack of leadership right there.
Yeah, that's
I
a
didn't
bad
do
move.
it. You definitely
That's why I
had
see
it.
why a lot of Republicans not going with DeSantis, man.
He's pretty high in the rankings, though.
He's
top
pretty high,
4.
but
It's because
I think he's
he's
second,
a governor.
actually.
and people like how he handled COVID in Florida.
Spike Lee actually went on a rant. I actually kind of want to see what he said. Y'all want to see this guy or Spike Lee?
I want to hear Spike.
Serious
I would
Spike
like to see
Lee,
a
man.
Spike
I want to
Lee.
see the
All
greatest
That was a
director.
pretty easy question.
The Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity has announced they're moving their 2025 annual convention out of Florida. The fraternity established for African American men says Governor Ron DeSantis has, quote, harmful, racist, insensitive policies against the black community.
Damn.
They said they made the decision following the state's new social studies
And
curriculum
Catholics had our
approved just last
convention
week.
out there.
Here's the part that's come under fire. Middle school students will be taught about various kinds of work enslaved black people were forced to perform. Some examples listed: agriculture, carpentry, and transportation. And then it says this, quote, instruction includes how slaves developed skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. In a moment, filmmaker Spike Lee's
that's
reaction
a
to
problem.
those
I can
new
see why.
guidelines. But first,
That's a
what
problem.
Republican presidential candidate and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said about all this last night.
These standards really were born out of that, and these are very thorough standards done by African American history scholars. There is no agenda here. It is just the truth. And they talk in gory detail a lot of the bad in American history, including, of course, the injustice of slavery.
So difficult topic, man. That's a difficult
So DeSantis is now saying that there's no agenda here.
I don't think he's educated about enslavement of my ancestors. Even they did have some skills, they were still enslaved. It's not like they opened up a business. It's not like they could profit from it.
That's true.
And another thing I'd like to say, I want to thank my wife, Tanya, because I kept using the term slaves.
Which they actually use in their curriculum.
You got to say enslaved.
Enslaved,
It's
yes.
a
I got a
big,
question.
big
Can we pause
difference.
this?
I really...
It makes a difference because it's
It makes
not
a difference.
To identify somebody just as a slave.
Words are important.
This is a person who was enslaved.
And when you told me to come on your show, I had to pull my hat in because 1619, that's when enslaved African people were brought to this country, were stolen from Mother Africa to work the stolen land from the Native Americans. For me, I always go back, for me, that's one of the foundations of the United States of America. The stealing of enslaved people to work the stolen land from the Native Americans and work from sun up, the sun down, and not be treated as human beings.
It also, you know, the
Time out, man. Oh my God.
I just want to read the text again of what Florida is now required.
So they stole over 100,000
No, he said something. The way he even said it didn't make sense. He said they stole already slaved people.
Yeah, that's stupid.
If they're already slave, why'd you have to steal them?
They probably went and took them from the people that owned them.
Yeah, but I
They
can
just made a
see.
business transaction.
They came over there with guns and said, "We take it."
I can see why the Democrats would be upset about this, though, because it does seem
they
like
were
they're pushing white propaganda with this. Because if you're trying to say that white people gave black people skills, you're basically saying, you know, they're pushing that white people just helped them a whole bunch.
Yeah, they're trying to erase the bad part and make it seem like it brought them over and helped them out, taught them how to work and be hard-working people.
Yeah, I don't agree really with much of what he said, pretty much. But I do think, though, that you can't do that. You can't try to justify slavery with that and try to make it like the skills that were taught. Yeah, there were skills taught, but that does not outweigh the damage that was done from it. You can't say that. Only a fool would say slavery did not damage black people. It definitely did.
So after slavery, you want to say that them knowing that shit stuff can like benefited them, but they just didn't know how to read or write, so they didn't know how to apply that.
I think that that helped a little bit knowing the skills, but like I think being a slave hurt so much.
Yeah,
as a whole.
It did hurt as a whole.
That doesn't justify it.
Yeah, man, I won't say that that benefited black people because maybe they did learn certain things, but like Spike said, they couldn't profit from it. There's no benefit from that. They got no benefit from learning these skills.
LLC.
They learned the skills and did the work while someone else benefited from them knowing that. They got no benefit from it. Then if they didn't comply, they were beaten and tortured and killed and forced into submission. To say that like slavery benefited black people is awful.
How many slaves were brought
That
over
is
here?
crazy. That is crazy though. Yeah.
So, like,
Hey Siri,
I just can't get behind that logic, me personally.
how many slaves were brought to America?
I found this on the web.
Almost 10 million, it says.
Damn.
I think we're shipped to different places, but I think only maybe 300,000 came here. So were they all stolen, buddy? No. The Africans.
I'm sure some were
Traded
stolen
them.
at some point.
Yeah, man. No, basically.
Everything gonna get stolen.
Yeah,
at some point.
I'm sure that
Hell yeah.
there was
Pirates
definitely.
need
I'm
that.
sure that
Also,
some
at
slaves
some
were.
point, they were definitely sold.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure some slaves were acquired like through a transaction, but I think a lot of them were probably stolen. I think when people saw that they were coming on boats and coming back with people that are working and they're making money off someone else working, they probably got on boats with guns and said, "We finna go get us
Oh,
something.
for sure. We finna just steal it.
Y'all
We ain't
finna,
got
y'all
no
they
hidden
gonna come over there with
bottle
guns. Y'all coming with us, or you gonna die."
Yeah.
I don't think. I think it was like, let me get your slaves, or you gonna die, because they was already slaves.
You don't think some of the African countries already had guns though? Like, and they just took over little small colonies.
I don't think so, man. I think slaves were traded for guns. lots of slaves were traded for guns. They were probably like, yo, you give us those people, we'll give you some of these.
Because, like, how I was taught history, I've been thinking the whole time, no Africans had guns at all during the Atlantic slaves.
Yeah.
But they're
A lot of
close to
things-
China around all that over there, so they had to at least have some type of trade to get guns, you know?
That's one we really
Do we
can't
know
talk
that they were
about.
trading with China though?
It's right there, like it's an ocean. Like what's that little ocean that can connect you right there in that path, like right there? I know it's the Dead Sea. You got the Mediterranean. What is it called? The Mediterranean Sea.
Mediterranean.
Saying that shit so wrong. Yeah, I can't pronounce that big, y'all.
Mediterranean.
Okay, I actually don't want to see more of what Spike Lee has to say about
Nah.
this. Yeah.
He can shut his ass up, man.
Yeah.
Just
He a
like-
victim.
That's
he's
crazy.
definitely a Democrat.
That's crazy. Like only like the
But this
Europeans
is,
was
I
the only
forget
ones.
CNN is the Democrat one, huh?
It is, yeah.
I
See,
can't.
I never watched the
brought him.
news.
That's why
I
they
never
brought
watched the news, man.
I can't just believe the Europeans was the only people with guns.
No, you're right. They did have guns.
What their CNN's gonna do, they're gonna bring a black known
So,
person.
yeah, that's
on
what I'm
there
saying. Cause like Africa's right there
doesn't know what they're
in that
talking
trade route right there.
That has,
That's
you know,
hard.
that's
Yeah,
famous.
see, it says they traded African slaves for guns
Yeah.
and gold.
So
I told
that
you,
means
yeah.
that it was transactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
So they weren't
It
stolen.
says,
didn't go round
it
up
says they
Africans.
didn't get guns in West Africa until 1750. This was 1619.
So
So,
they was getting- 'cause
a lot of the
Africa's
guns that
huge.
were in Africa were probably through slaves, and they were probably trading gold for it.
Bro,
That is crazy.
there's also
that is
exposed to
insane to me.
CNN's agenda though by bringing Spike on.
Duh.
But it says right here that Africans acquired firearms in the 15th century via the Ottoman Empire, and Ethiopians purchased guns from Portuguese people around that time.
So that's what I'm saying.
We
Like,
actually learned about that in that white slave trade video.
that's what I'm.
The
That's why.
Ottomans had slaves, the Portuguese had slaves, lots of stuff.
So that's why I'm confused. Like all that trade route is right there, like for trade.
So what is the point here?
No, I'm just saying that's crazy that like in history we was like damn near taught like
You
People
think
were
that they
stolen
went over
and
there
they
with
just got
guns
them.
and was like,
Yeah, definitely.
y'all come get on this boat, y'all gonna be slaves now. Like you took them from their homes and their regular lives.
Yes.
But actually they were already slaves.
You know what really just needs to be taught? That Africans sold other Africans. I feel like that would.
I think that,
Stop a lot.
that's another can of worms that should be opened.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't think a lot of people
Oh, they don't
know
understand that.
that
He
was-
doesn't understand that. So they're
I'm sure that
blind
those-
leading the blind, basically.
But y'all
Spike
gotta
don't know
remember,
that. So
you
he
got-
leading other blind people because other black people looking at Spike like, oh, that's Spike Lee. We need to agree with him. You know.
But y'all gotta remember, like, think about, roots. Like, a lot of people, that's the
a
only,
movie.
huh?
That's a movie, brother.
But, people look at movies and think it's real.
No, they said Jaws like impacted people going to the beach.
Like, bro, they said Roots was based off a true story. So, on Roots, you seen Kunta Kinte really get, like, caught.
I never seen it.
You never seen Roots? That's crazy.
Yeah, I've never seen Roots either. It's long. It's like 4
Okay,
or 5
so,
parts.
let's-
I never sat through it all.
Let's wrap up this conversation. So, do y'all think that DeSantis, the policy is stupid, or
I think
do
it's
y'all think
stupid
it's a
as
good
fuck.
I don't agree with the
I think
policy.
it's stupid.
Yeah, I don't agree with the policy if
Y'all
he's not
just
telling the
think
truth.
More pots need to be open about certain facts in slavery.
I don't think changing the history of things that actually happened is.
I mean, they're
is-
not teaching false though. They're just,
But they're changing it. They're changing the curriculum.
No,
I don't think that's
I think-
beneficial
but
in
it's-
any way.
I think they're having a political agenda.
But aren't you allowed to change the
Behind it.
curricula in school though? Like,
But you're changing
Yeah.
like a whole historical curriculum
I
to
think
like
they doing
omit lots of details and factors, and you're leaving in only a 50-50 positive statement. Oh, they benefited. Well, I'm sure the enslaved people, if they could tell you they didn't benefit,
I'm going to keep it 100.
they went through a lot of
so
atrocities.
you don't think that's good for the black mind?
No, I don't. I don't think you should just leave it how it is and teach what
I
actually
think
happened.
you need to keep your teach the truth.
Teach what actually happened. Like, yeah, maybe
With no political agenda.
maybe there were skills that they benefited from after slavery, but while they were enslaved, they benefited nothing from the skills that they were taught. There was nothing they benefited from.
You know, we need to figure
They
out.
didn't even benefit from being here.
DeSantis said that
It's actually
some
bad for them.
African American teachers were the ones that wanted to pass this. So we need to figure out if that's true.
No. He said it was African American
Historian.
researchers.
Yeah. Well,
who
teach,
wrote
not
the
teachers. Yeah,
curriculum.
that's what I meant.
But I feel like they could have took that and bent it in a way to try to justify slavery. Like maybe that's not what them people meant. You never know.
I can
I don't
definitely
know.
see it. It might be.
I don't know where to get
Might
me
be.
either.
Yeah, I personally, like me, when I hear like, oh, we're gonna say,
I'm
I just keep it
no
real,
for me.
man.
I'm sorry,
Y'all
man.
might get mad at me for this.
it's a no for me.
I'm
personally.
just saying, like,
keep it 100.
only thing I could say, I feel like the bill is stupid to say it benefited black people, but just telling the child, yeah, bro, you was just property a couple years ago, bro.
Not a couple years ago.
Not
Yeah.
you weren't property.
But 40 years ago,
Your
your
ancestors were property.
Yeah,
look
you
how
was
far
property.
we done came, so
200
that can
years
show
ago.
you that look what you
It's
can
100,
do.
160.
You wasn't changed, and now look at us now.
But like
So,
we seen the
facts.
effect of people learning it and how their response to it right now in
But
our
why don't they-
society.
We learned about the white slave trade.
you
Though.
think the way
Why don't they tell white people they were enslaved though?
They don't.
Why don't they do that though?
That's what I'm saying.
So you think
might not be bad.
that some people's negative
That's a
behavior is
good
from
point.
them learning that we were slaves?
Like, bro, like
That's crazy.
Like, think
No, I
about we never
it
think about
feeds to the victim mindset.
like keeping 100. Think about if we never listened to say if rap music did not exist, we didn't know about slavery, and we had like a clean slate. You think our people would still act like how we act?
I personally feel like knowing your history is more reason for you to try to be successful. Like people fought and died for you to have the opportunities that you have today. So for you to go and not make something of yourself is a slap in the face to them.
See,
And
but that's how you look at it. That's how
For you,
look
that's
at
how I
it.
look at it.
Yeah.
Shit, I
think-
gotta go achieve,
Yeah,
make something
exactly.
happen.
That's a great way to look at
But
it.
I think
Type of
that
person
a lot
I
of
am.
things can be, are based on perspective. Because you look at it like that, that's why you are the way you are. Boom. Okay, another person could look at it like from a victim mentality and be like, oh, they've always been trying to hold us down since
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
And even now, it's so hard out here.
Well, I mean-
you gotta work twice as hard for half as much. And I'm telling you, all you gotta do is survive. That's all we've been
Yeah,
doing.
you can't do nothing. You're a black man. So imagine if you didn't like.
I see that point
Like-
in it, but
That's what I say, bro. This is a hard one, bro. This
don't
is
know,
one that I
man.
don't think either side could
Could
just
choose.
choose.
Yeah.
I think the statement that you have to work twice as hard is somewhat, there's facts in that.
But I don't think that's good to think that though.
I mean,
Because he's already thinking I'm behind.
yeah, no. I just say that because some, as we know, a lot of black homes, they don't have the same resources. They don't have two-parent homes, But I mean, if you still go hard, you work your ass off, you can still make something of yourself. I think that's all that's
Yeah, but
saying
if
to
you
you.
think of it like a competition, right? If there's a competition and there's a red team, blue team, yellow team, green team, and you on the green team, and they tell you the green team got a less chance of winning, you will automatically assume
That
they
you're
got a
losing.
less chance of winning.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like even if those things are true, I'm gonna tell them, hey, everybody got an equal shot. So if you go your hardest, you could do it. That's how I feel like that's the best way to think of it.
That's what I was. That's what
Because then as soon as something gonna go wrong, you gonna
Yeah.
you gonna think about that disadvantage you got.
Yeah,
But
man.
well, if I didn't,
I feel like
if
this
only
is-
I wasn't black, then
This is definitely a difficult one because
I see how
both
I
sides.
see the point. Not gonna lie,
No, I see the point.
but I cannot say that.
it's right.
Let's open up all the potholes. That's what we do here. Open up all the potholes. Let's talk about the white slave trade. Let's talk about all the slave trades. Let's talk about Africans selling other Africans. Let's talk about it all if we're gonna just
Let's
talk
keep
about
it
it.
real, man.
So I don't think that we should just go into history and just say, oh, black people were enslaved and that is bad. If
I
we're not
definitely
talking
think they
about
should teach both sides of it,
Yeah.
for sure.
they talk about the Indians getting
Slaughtered.
sometimes.
They no, in Oklahoma, we learned that bad in Oklahoma.
You do.
You learn all about
We
that.
don't learn about that
We learned
much,
that
but-
extremely bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like everybody got
Like
different
Mexico, you know what I'm
curriculums.
saying? Like-
So that's why I'm not mad. You know, Florida let them have their curriculum. Everybody want different curriculums.
But-
see, that's a problem, man.
But yeah,
I
I always say
private
glorify
school
it.
like that. I guess
you
there's some
There's some points.
yeah, you
on
made a
both
point with that
sides.
one.
That's why I say you can't just glorify it. That's the only part I can
There
say.
is points on both sides. I do agree with that.
Yeah, but yeah, guys, let us know what y'all think. This is a very much crazy policy that's been passed from the Florida state. But let us know. Do y'all think should this be across the United States? And,
This is a tough one.
how would this affect the African American and the American people? Let us know. We're out of here. We're gone.